Hope you're enjoying these episodes. We are almost at the end of the book. We are on page number 277 right now. So let's see what Maharaj is going to discuss today. Firstly, liberation can be had anywhere, anytime. Samadhi is necessary. Samadhi is dependent on divine grace. It is no good roaming about so much. For lasting results, continue steadily in the monastery. What beauty is there in the external world? Human life is vain unless one sees Him. Him, that is God. Now, the places, again, Belur Mutt. Time is April 28th, 1932. A monk who had gone to Uttarkashi for spiritual practice and then fallen ill had written a letter to Mahapurushji, telling him of the various kinds of hardships and inconvenience one had to suffer in that remote Himalayan retreat. Mahapurushji wanted the reply to be written thus: rather than suffer there, come back here immediately. Can there be any hardships? See, can there be any hard and fast rule that one will have liberation only at Uttarkashi? Liberation or samadhi can be attained anywhere if it so pleases him, if such is his dispensation, and you have been at that place long enough to know what it is. Now come back and continue your spiritual practice here itself, just as you had been doing before. The main thing that matters is to acquire devotion to His lotus feet. As to that, one can have it here as well. The climate of those places does not suit many of the monks. Either they suffer continuously and then die prematurely, or they lose their mental balance on account of the forced hardships. Well, my son, all depends on His will. Take refuge in Him and continue to be at His feet. Call on Him constantly, pray to Him. Gradually, you will feel His grace in your heart. One cannot have true enlightenment without samadhi. That samadhi again is dependent on His grace. The chief aim of life is the realization of God. That does not depend on any particular locality. Why consider even the life of the Master himself? Did he ever go to Uttarkashi or roam about in the Himalayas to practice austerities? One has to survive by accepting his life as the ideal. Every act of his life is an ideal for the present age. That is the most dependable example. Impelled by the spirit of renunciation, one brahmachari had gone straightway to the Himalayas to do spiritual practice. With regards to that, Mahapurushji said, well, my son, it is no good roaming about so much like that. That brings no good results. Not that it is absolutely useless. Such results does, of course, occur, but it is all temporary. It doesn't last long. The fact is that if one would have a lasting result, one must continue steadily in the monastery of the Master and Swamiji, that is, Swami Vivekananda, and undertake his spiritual practices there itself. That's why Swamiji established this monastery with the very blood of his heart. And such an association of monks, where indeed can you find such monks? It is difficult to get the companionship of such saintly, pure, dispassionate, learned, and spiritually inspired monks. Besides, you have knowledge here, devotion, and selfless service, and also yoga. In fact, all the spiritual paths. No other place can be compared to this in suitability for spiritual exercises. Can those who are possessed of real renunciation afford to roam about from place to place in search of a suitable spot? They quietly sit down somewhere. In the Himalayas, now and then, you can come across only a few really saintly and dispassionate monks who are engaged in spiritual practice with diligence. They live in very solitary places. As for the rest, they somehow while away their time. That's why Maharaj, that is Swami Turiyanand, used to say, as for ourselves, we are as bad as thieves, that is, stealing our time. Can we spend all our time in spiritual efforts? Much of our time is wasted uselessly. In comparison with that, it is much better to undertake a little selfless service and carry on spiritual practices along with that. Just a little word here. We have started Swami Turiyanandji's letters to his brother monks in Hindi on our channel. Please do watch. As for roaming about and undergoing hardships, our experience too in that line is not a little. We had enough of that experience in life. Wherever I went in the Himalayas, in hills and forests, I engaged myself fully in japa and meditation. Further, Mahapurushji is saying, I have some experiences as to how long the appeal of natural scenery, etc., lasts. Not for long, to be sure. When my mind lost contact with the external objects and merged in the objects of meditation, I had no consciousness of my environment. When the idea of time and space are eliminated, then all that remains is bliss alone. Existence, consciousness, bliss, intensified. Inside you, it is all uniformly like that. So he's saying, existence, consciousness, bliss is intensified and we forget the outside world. What beauty, after all, can there be in the external world? Nothing at all. The mine of the beauty is inside. So the mine of beauty is inside. All that is manifest outside is finite. You can chalk out its limits. But that which is not manifest is infinite. The more the mind enters inside, the more does it get absorbed there. A quarter of him constitutes the whole universe. His three immortal quarters are transcendent. Just imagine how vast he is. So he is transient. His other quarters are transient. So imagine how vast he is. It's enough if the mind gets merged in him even once only. Then the mind can no longer derive any happiness from things outside. He is, in fact, the mine of all peace. Human life will have been spent in vain unless one sees him. Nothing matters at all unless one has the vision of God. So, we have a mine inside us which we don't even know. It is gold, it is silver, it's not even silver, it's diamonds. So, let us look inside and let us pray to Sri Ramakrishna that we are able to look inside us for what is in there. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Do stay tuned to Devakshar, like and share our videos, and do subscribe to our channel if you already haven't. Thank you so much for being with us.